Welcome to the Instagram stories for Wednesday, June 18th. I'm your host, Daniel Hill. Today on the show, we're going to have some updates about the Edits app, including a teleprompter feature, which I am actually very excited for. Additionally, the @creators account shares some tips for how to use voiceovers on your videos for maximum effectiveness. Additionally, the YouTube Creator Insider team has some updates to the YouTube platform that you need to know about. And I share a clip from a recent podcast that I was on talking about Instagram story tips with Heston from Social Varsity. All of that and more on today's episode, but first, here's a quick word from our sponsors. Welcome back. Let's start with the Edits news. They've added 3 new features that you absolutely need to know about, and the first I'm very excited for. The most important one is a teleprompter that you can use to record videos within the Edits app. I personally use a separate teleprompter app to record video when I need to explain something very clearly and I want it to come out exactly the way I've written it without needing to look off screen while I'm thinking. I can keep looking directly at the screen, read what I have put in the teleprompter without it seeming like I'm reading while I'm looking at the camera and looking right directly into the viewer's eyes. Huge fan of the teleprompter concept. I'm excited that it is going to be part of the Edits app. Additionally, the Edits team announced that they are releasing more creative overlays, more options to changes in opacity, color, and the ability to add filters within the Edits app. And lastly, there is a top 10 in insights within the Edits app so you can see what's working, how your most recent 10 reels are performing, ranked by views. Really nice to have all of that analytics information in one place as you create more content. One note I want to say about the Edits app though, these features that I've been talking about, the teleprompter, last week I was talking about Restyle within the Edits app, which allows you to change so many different elements of your video. I don't have those features in the Edits app yet. I updated my app. I'm using the latest version. I'm even in the beta test, so I should be getting the features as soon as they're added, but I don't seem to have any of them. So although I am excited for the teleprompter, I am excited to use Restyle, I do not have them yet, and I've not had the opportunity to dive into those features personally. I am looking forward to doing that though, so make sure your Edits app is updated and check to see if you have those features. Let's move on to the @creators account, who shared some really good strategy when it comes to adding voiceovers to your videos.
I have a knack for storytelling in my voiceover videos, and here's a step-by-step on how I create clean voiceover style videos in Edits. I record my voiceover directly in the Edits app, and I will trim any silent gaps or any part where I might have stumbled over my words. Once the voiceover is condensed down to only the good parts, I layer the audio on top of each other. Overlapping your audio to keep each sentence flowing into the next ensures your audience will stay engaged, just like I'm still holding your attention right now. And the most subtle but biggest difference you can make is adding music to set the overall vibe for your video, and Edits allows you to add music from the soundtrack library. People might not even have interest in the topic you're talking about, but they will stay if there's a natural flow to your video. If you made it this far, something in my recipe must have worked. So which aspect made you say?
Okay, personally, I've never thought about overlapping sentences like that. It just seems like it would be tough to listen to, but in terms of keeping people's attention and keeping them engaged, why would you have a pause between sentences? It totally makes sense. I do like that as a strategy, although if it's not for you, that's fair enough. Let's move on to the YouTube news. The YouTube team has announced something called communities, which are similar to what Instagram has with broadcast channels, except you can have actual conversations back and forth between people who subscribe to your channel. I think this is a very interesting concept. Here's a quick video from the YouTube team explaining all about communities, how they work, and how you can get started with them.
Communities on YouTube provide a dedicated space for you and your subscribers to have conversations, share updates, and connect right from your channel. You and your subscribers can create and share posts to your community on mobile, encouraging back and forth conversations and fan-to-fan connections. As a creator, you'll have the ability to moderate and control who posts in your community. Eligible creators can enable their community by heading to the YouTube main app on mobile, then the U tab, then View Channel. Tap the Edit button, then switch on Your Community. When you go back to your channel, you'll have the option to Visit Community. After you've enabled your community, we recommend creating a welcome post to set the tone of your community and start the conversation. To create a post, tap the text box. You can add text, create a poll, add images, create a quiz, and more. You can also edit the visibility of the post, schedule it, or set an expiration. When you're done, hit post. Once you're all set up, you're ready to start engaging in your community. Posts you make as a creator will appear in your community and in the Posts tab. Posts made by subscribers will appear in your community. Viewers who are not subscribed will be able to view, comment, and like posts in your community, but can't make their own posts. You can also sort the community feed by top, newest, or my posts. Viewers will be able to sort by top, newest, or posts just by you, the creator. You can also edit your settings at any time on mobile by tapping Community Settings in the feed. Here you can choose if you want to have viewer posts turned on or off. If you choose to have them on, you'll see 3 post moderation options: None, Basic, or Hold All. From Community Settings, you can set a minimum subscription time. For even more community moderation settings options, head to YouTube Studio Desktop, then Settings, then Community Moderation, then Defaults. To review and approve viewer posts, go to YouTube Studio Desktop, then Community, then Viewer Posts. To remove a subscriber post or to prevent a specific user from posting in your community, tap the 3-dot menu on the user's post or comment, then choose Remove, Report, or Hide from Channel. Note that if you've assigned moderators on your channel, they'll be able to hide users or engage in communities on your behalf. Now let's walk through some best practices for using your community. Consider posting to your community regularly to keep viewers engaged and complement your video uploads. Recognize and support your community's interests. Recognizing inside jokes or nicknames from your content can create a sense of belonging where your subscribers feel invited to post and participate. Build engagement and excitement by interacting with subscriber posts in the comments and with follow-up posts. And be authentic and have fun. Share behind-the-scenes moments. Ask your audience what they want to see more of, and use the space to garner valuable insights for you and your channel and to build community amongst your viewers. We hope communities help you and your viewers create stronger connections. Check out the links in the description for more info. Thanks for watching.
I think this is a very interesting feature because obviously YouTube has comments, but if you're a YouTuber, you're probably spending time on other platforms. You probably have an email newsletter. You're engaging with subscribers in different ways, but why? Shouldn't that be centralized on YouTube? I think this makes a lot of sense if you spend a lot of time on YouTube and that's where your main audience is. Excited for this feature. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to have some Instagram story tips from a recent podcast interview that I was on. Stick around. Welcome back. Recently, Heston from Social Varsity had me on his YouTube live show. He does a weekly YouTube live with Megan Harriman, and they get into different aspects of social media. They invited me on to talk about Instagram stories. Here's a clip from that interview.
Do you find yourself in IG stories feed often, like just scrolling from left to right instead of up and down like normal people in the feed, perhaps we say?
Sometimes. I've been spending way more time on TikTok lately. Personally, I just find it more engaging, but I think it is a really good way to kind of see on a Monday morning, what did your friends do this weekend that was fun? Sometimes you get that FOMO, right? That you missed a fun event, but you know what? You never know. So I've been spending more time on that. I do think stories used to be a lot more exciting for me personally when people actually had to post to it and they couldn't share a feed post to stories. I don't know if you see this, but a lot of the stories that I see are just feed posts that someone came across that they thought was interesting and they wanted others to see it and they shared it to their story. And I'm not saying that's bad, but that doesn't really appeal to me personally. I'd much rather see you behind the scenes documenting, your workout at 6 a.m. You're taking a short video of you sweating profusely. And I go, man, I really need to get up and go to the gym. Then you shared an article. And I'm not saying that's bad, but just for me personally, I see a lot of people using it the way we used to use email forwards or something like that. And to me, that's just not as dynamically exciting. What I would like to see is a return to people doing behind the scenes, taking me on their day, bringing me on their journey, showing me how they do their meal prep or their, use video to tell that story. I think that's something a lot more powerful that I would like to see. And to Megan's point, that brings depth, right? People who come across you from a reel or a TikTok or whatever, now they see who is the person behind that piece of content that I saw and what are they doing to make that piece of content. That I think is incredibly engaging.
You kind of blew me away there with that aspect in regards to when you notice yourself really paying attention to IG stories and utilizing it on Mondays. I think that's really important, that insight that you just shared. I think a lot of people relate to that without even knowing, because I would want to say IG stories probably get most views the earlier the week compared to the end of the week. I've noticed that, at least myself with my own content.
I'm going to stop the clip there, but I drop a lot more knowledge in the rest of that interview. I will link to it in the show notes so that you can check it out for yourself. That is going to do it for today's episode. If you want to hear me do Wednesday Waffle, where I talk about a topic that may or may not be related to social media, stick around after the music.
Instagram news got you covered, sometimes even TikTok. Relevant platforms in the metaverse ahead of the wave without a break or a pit stop. Still waiting for Zuckerberg to give me the big job. Pause. Use trademarks and logos with Insta's permission, of course. If you like the show and you gain some good info, maybe leave a review. It's a type of applause. Just drop me a message if you want to collab. If you got some good content or you want to run ads, at Daniel Hill Media is where I am. TikTok, Facebook and Instagram.
Hey, thanks for sticking around to hear me talk about a topic that is a little bit different. I mentioned last week on the show that I was going to be going to the Build Expo, which is at the Jacob Javits in Manhattan. And I went yesterday. Awesome event, 60,000 people. And some of the sessions that I got into, some were not as good, but some were absolutely fantastic. I wandered into one that had to do with storytelling and photography. I'm not a photographer, but I enjoy a good story. And this session was led by a woman named Amy Vitale, who's a Nat Geo photographer. And her stories and her photographs were absolutely phenomenal. She worked in Kenya on a reservation that takes care of elephants. And she also worked to take pictures of rhinos that were endangered. And her photos were absolutely amazing. It's one thing to see a photo on Instagram that's a very good picture, but it's another thing to see it on a giant HD 4K projector, 80 inches big, while someone is telling you a story of how they saved an elephant's life. Just unbelievable. I'm going to link to Amy's Instagram post, which again, do not do it justice at all, but definitely check Amy's work out. I was absolutely blown away and her stories were phenomenal. Thank you for listening to me talk about something else for a little bit.